Yo, what is going on, guys? Paul James here, and in today's video I'm gonna break down some tips on how successful people think. So first off, ignore this ugly background behind me. I'm still on vacation in Florida. I've actually got the camera sitting on a chair right now on top of the table so that it's acting as a tripod. Kind of funny, but you gotta work with what you have. So if you're excited to learn how successful people think, do me a favor and smash that like button. Also, if you've never been to the channel before, this is a place where we talk about motivation, entrepreneurship, business, all of that kind of stuff. So if you're into any of those things, what I'd like for you to do is drop below the video right away and hit the subscribe button. And then after you subscribe, if you drop a comment on the video saying I've subscribed, I will actually go back through and I will reply to your comment welcoming you to the channel, because I'm just so excited that you're here with us today and that you're a member of the family now. So I want to welcome you to the family. Okay, so let's get into the video and talk about how successful people think. Now, my intention for this video is for you to be able to come back here and use this as a tool whenever maybe you need some extra help, you need some mindset tips, maybe you're working on something and you're just not feeling very motivated, or you've kind of lost your way, so to speak. You should come back to this video. I want this to be a video that you can come back to. Share this with a friend, a family member. Bookmark this video right now so that you can come back to it, or post it on Facebook and share it with someone. So the first mindset thing that we're gonna talk about is mistakes. You need to be okay with making mistakes. Successful people make mistakes. That's not a problem. What successful people do really well though is they learn from the mistakes that they make. The problem comes in is when you make a mistake and you keep making that same mistake over and over again. It's like the old quote from Einstein, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again but expecting a different result. Okay, that is what you don't want to be doing. So learn from your mistakes, and even better is you can actually learn from other people's mistakes, and successful people do this a lot. So maybe you've seen someone in your family who's picked up a bad habit, like maybe they are smoking cigarettes or something like that. Now, you don't have to necessarily go and smoke cigarettes for yourself to learn that they're bad for you. You can learn from their mistakes and see how it's affecting maybe their health negatively or something like that. That's what I'm talking about here. That's the beautiful thing about mistakes, is they don't always have to be your mistakes. You can learn from other people's as well. So that's number one, is mistakes. The next thing I want to talk about is life experiences. A lot of people look at life experiences as something that they like have to go through, or like a rite of passage. Maybe think about your first job. I don't know, maybe it was working at McDonald's, maybe it was flipping burgers. I don't know what it is, but I'm just saying that life experiences you can look at from a different perspective, and look at experiences like that as an opportunity to maybe pick up a new skill. You know, everyone learns something from something that they've probably done. Like maybe you worked a really crappy job, but you learned a skill from that job. Maybe you learned how to sell better, or maybe you learned how to communicate better with people, right? So take a look at your past experiences, and rather than if you didn't like it or you hated it, look at what you took away from that experience. I remember back I went to a Christian school, and there were a lot of things that I didn't like about that school, but one thing that I remember specifically from that school was there was a class called character class, and it was about how to shape your character and how to become basically a better person, more well-rounded person. And that was one thing that I took away from that school. Even though I didn't really like it that much, I took away that from it, and that's something that will stick with me forever, a positive experience that I remember and that I took away from it. So it's always important to go into situations and experiences that you may be not so thrilled about and look at it from a different perspective. Okay, the next thing we're going to talk about is bad circumstances. Now, everyone has these bad circumstances in life, but some people let these bad circumstances negatively bring them down, which is fine. I mean, that happens to everyone, but they continue to let it drag them down, and they let it be basically the end-all be-all of them. They let it define who they are in a negative way. Well, you can use bad experiences to actually define yourself in a positive way as well. For example, every situation, there is some positive that comes out of it. There's some positive that you can dig from that bad situation. When I was first getting started, I was going to school, and I was actually living in my brother's garage because I just couldn't afford to live anywhere else. I couldn't afford to rent an apartment at the time. But what came out of that bad situation, I could have just dwelled on that, right? But what came out of it was it brought me to a point where I was constantly searching and figuring out a way to dig myself out of that situation and eventually become a successful business owner. You know, I would never be where I am today, maybe if I had never been in that situation where I hit my rock bottom. Maybe I never would have come to the place where I needed to really dig deep and figure out what I was gonna do and dig my way out of that. So every bad circumstance, there's going to be some positive that you can find in it and that you can use to propel you forward. So rather than let these circumstances shape you in a negative way, let them shape you in a positive way. Let them be the gas that your engine needs to propel you forward and move you to the next chapter of your life. Okay, next we need to talk about the mindset of the people that you associate with and the people that you're around. You know, they say that you're a combination of all the people that you're closest with. So think hard about that. Who are you surrounding yourself with? Are they the people that you want to be most like? Because chances are that the people you're surrounding yourself with are the people that you're going to be most like. Which means that you should surround yourself with more like-minded people, which also means that you should probably eliminate any bad or negative people in your life that are bringing you down. If anyone's negatively impacting you in a way that's affecting your life greatly, those are people that need to be eliminated from your life. Okay, so now that we've got the people thing out of the way, let's talk about the next thing, which is focus. And this is something that a lot of people lack. This is something that I think I lacked in probably the first like 4 or 5 years of figuring things out with my business. And this applies to anything, not just business. All of these things apply to anything, not just business. But this one especially was big for me and relatable to me when I was starting my business. There's this saying, right, that the jack of all trades is the master of none. So you want to focus on mastering one specific thing and getting really good at that, because you don't want to be the person who's kind of good at, you know, maybe a lot of things, but you've never really mastered that one thing. And that is important. You really want to become a master at whatever it is that you want to do. So make sure that you're staying highly focused on, maybe you want to become an actor, right? You should be highly focused on that. You shouldn't be like going and trying to become a musician then too, or doing all these other things. You should spend all of your time and focus on that until you've mastered it. And if you're having trouble with that, you should really think, is this one thing that you're really focused on something that you're gonna stick through? Because hard times are gonna come, right? Hard times always come in life. But when you have something that you're really passionate about and you're really focused on, you're gonna stick through that thing through the hard times. You're not gonna give up and just throw it to the wayside. So when you're thinking of what should you focus on, it should be that thing that you're going to stick with through the hard times. And then my last tip here, last mindset tip on the focus thing, is not to be afraid to say no. Okay, a lot of opportunities come at us in life, and those opportunities can also pull us away from the thing that we're focused on. So you have to be okay with saying no to those things, because saying no is a really powerful thing. It allows you to stay focused on what you're doing. Okay, the next mindset thing we're gonna talk about, we're gonna shift over, is to blaming yourself. Okay guys, I want you to blame yourself. I want you to take responsibility, because this is a big problem. If you're constantly looking at situations that happen in your life and you're blaming other people or you're making excuses, that is definitely not gonna help propel you forward and make you better at whatever it is you're trying to accomplish. You wanna look back, you wanna reflect on situations, and remember that you can take control. There's always something that you can control in a situation. You know, maybe it's walking away from the situation, maybe there's something you could have done differently, or moving forward in the future, you know. Always know that even if something seems out of your control, there's got to be something in that situation that you can take control of, and you are solely responsible for everything that happens. Even if someone's negatively impacting you, you know, you have the choice to remove that person from your life or remove yourself from that situation. You're in control. So take responsibility and blame yourself. Okay guys, and we're going to talk about one last thing before we wrap this video up. And this is the mindset of solving problems. You need to become a problem solver if you're going to be successful. Successful people solve problems, okay? And one way you can do that is by eliminating the what ifs and eliminating the I can'ts out of your vocabulary. A lot of times what we do is we say, well, what if this happens? Or I can't do this because. These are really bad indicators that you're not in a position, or you're not trying to be put in a position to solve a problem. Instead, you're coming up up with problems. And coming up with problems is definitely not going to be helpful in, obtaining whatever it is you want to obtain in life or meeting those goals. So instead of coming up with all of these lists of things that you can't do or these situations of what if this happens, start coming up with what you can do. Name off what you are good at or what you can do, and start becoming the solution rather than the problem. Stop looking at situations of there's this problem so I can't do it. Instead, look at what the solution is. Look at there's this problem, but I might not be able to do that, but I can do this instead. So I'll go ahead and I'll do this. We see this a lot in the marketing world when people buy courses and they hit a roadblock in the course where maybe they didn't understand something fully. And instead of actually going and trying to come up with a solution to it, they say, well, I can't do it because of this. This wasn't addressed, or I didn't understand this, so I can't be successful with it. Instead, when you hit that roadblock, you should try and find a solution to it. Maybe it's going on YouTube and looking up a video tutorial, or maybe it's doing a quick Google search and it's just something really simple. Or maybe it's that you can't do that, but you could do something else instead to kind of get past that roadblock. So instead of saying what you can't do, start looking at what you can do and come up with a solution to that problem that you're facing. Alright guys, well that's all I have for you in this video. These are the mindset hacks, I guess I would call them, that you can use to become more successful and think like someone else who is successful, and just overall better your life, better your business, better whatever it is you're trying to do, your relationship, goals, any of that stuff. So if you enjoyed this video and this stuff helped you out, do me a favor and like it. And don't forget, if you're not subscribed, you should subscribe right now to get notified of every new video when I release it. And if you could do me a favor and share this video with someone that you think would benefit from this, that would be great. Until next time guys, I am Paul James. Peace out.